Hey guys, I want to show you the power of using AI for your backgrounds after you've published a model and you want to make a thumbnail, you want it to look really good. I want to show you some of what I've learned about creating backgrounds for your objects. And here are a couple just different examples. I want to tell you about the software I tried and the software to avoid and how to do it in case you want to do something like that and to have a very clean background. Now, before we get started, I know there's a lot of, I know this is a controversial topic in the 3D community about using AI for your thumbnails. I totally understand it because you want to see an image of the exact object you're going to print. So this is my rule of thumb, and I could be totally off on this. I'm willing to hear your thoughts on it, but I truly believe the object itself needs to be a real photo of the printed object so that you have an idea of what you're downloading, especially if you're paying for it. I don't charge for any of my models though. I only use MakerWorld to upload stuff, and my stuff is all free. So I'm not like one of these really high-end designers. I'm doing it more for a hobby. That being said, I want to give people a very realistic impression of what the object is when they download it so that you're not misleading people. However, if you're in a small apartment and you have bad lighting and you don't have a great setup, or maybe you don't have access to a good camera, you might need a little help in the background of it so that you can display an object in a way that looks really compelling. So that's what this video is about. I want to just show you and walk you through some examples and some software that I've used. This is a rolling pin I designed. I'm getting ready to release it. This is the second version. My first version, I was just not happy with it. So I'm going to ditch it. And so I'm making the thumbnails currently as we speak, getting ready to do that. So let's jump into it real quick. This is my profile on MakerWorld. So I'm just going to talk about a few of the different AI background software I have used. This one is called adcreative.ai. And I gave this about 2 stars. It was very cumbersome to get started and set up, and it required all this brand creation and stuff like that. There's a 7-day trial, but the backgrounds, they did look okay, but I wasn't crazy about it. So then there's Pixel Cut, and this one had a pretty good effective background removal, but it was $9.99 a month, and there was no free trial, and I didn't really get into it because there wasn't a free trial. Plus, I wasn't crazy about some of their examples. Their background replacement tool was very, very basic. Pebble, 2 stars. It was $19 a month. It had a very ineffective cropping tool. Wasn't crazy about it. Snapper. This one actually worked pretty well. This is my old design for my rolling pin, and this is the image it came back with. I asked it to have some flour on the rolling pin, on some dough. It's pretty good. However, the dimensions are a little off, a little wonky. This is actually bigger than it looks like in the picture, and I don't want to mislead anybody with my images, so I didn't end up using this. But the other thing about Snapper is that there is somebody on the other end. So after you create an AI image, it takes about 24 hours to get it back, but somebody actually, a real human, is looking at the AI images that it's trying to create and finding the best one and modifying them before they send it to you. So you end up getting images that are much closer to what you're looking for based on what it is you want. So here was the prompt I gave it. The background should be a warm, rustic kitchen, yada, yada, yada. Problem is they're very expensive. This is I think their basic version's like $400 a month, something like that. They have a free, I think you get like 3 free image backgrounds if you want to try them. They're definitely something to look at because there's people involved. It's not just AI. It's like people, graphic designers plus AI. They seem like a pretty legit company, but it's just out of my price range. The one I found, drum roll please, I'm burying the lead, I know, is Inpixio. I love Inpixio. It's relatively inexpensive. I think it's about $10 a month after a free trial, so you can try it first. And you can get some amazing photos. So I'm going to walk you through real quick on how to do it. We're just going to create a new one. And I'm going to grab an image. We'll just grab, let's just do this. We want one. These are real photos I took, obviously. Well, let's use this one here. And we're going to bring it in. The first thing we want to do is remove the existing background. So we're just going to use their AI tool. It's really quick. It's a lot like Canva, but it almost works better than Canva, in my opinion. So we're good to go. I like that. All right. Now, they already have all these different AI backgrounds already created that oftentimes I just use these. They're sort of templates. And some of them are incredible. So let's use the light wood first and check it out. And by the way, I've used this constantly, and the amount of credits I get in the basic plan is a lot. And if you want to upgrade, if you run out of credits, you can get more credits for pretty cheap, just dollars. So that looks fairly good. I don't really like the shelf thing. So anytime you want to redo it, go back, hit the redo button before you generate more. Otherwise, it's going to try to take the existing one you just selected and merge it with trying again. So I always go back and clear out the background before I hit it again. Okay, so yeah, that looks fantastic. The dimensions look pretty dead on. I mean, it's not absolutely perfect, but it somehow looks at the dimensions of my rolling pin or the object, whatever you're uploading, and uses that to create the correct perspective in the photo. And it gives it some shadow in it. If you look closely, I mean, it actually can give it some shadow. I'm going to download that one. That's pretty solid. Some of the other ones, though, let's go back. Some of these are just crazy, like this one that looks like it's called Urban Style. It looks like a puddle. It actually will take the object and create reflections in the water of it. Don't know how to do it. I mean, I don't know how this works, but it is like freaking magic. It's just crazy how cool that is. I'm not sure what that little thing is there. We can take a look at this one. Oh, I think that's part of the shadow or reflection. Unbelievable. I don't know why you'd ever have it in a puddle, but if you have an object that you think would benefit from having water underneath it, it might be really cool. I like the marble one right here. Marble is this one. I don't like that the labels are on top instead of the bottom. Anyway, it just throws me off every time. So we're going to try this one here. This is the one of the marbles. Also, if you change the size of your object, it can give you a little bit more different perspective as well. So that looks pretty awesome. Looks like some kind of shelf or something. That one's okay. This is a little weird over here. Again, not every one of these is going to be a home run. You have to go through a few, but they can be really effective. We'll do one more. Let's do this minimalist one. This is like just in a blanket, like a white background. This can look amazing, especially for a little statue. It can really, really shine. Okay. So that looks really nice. Sometimes just a minimal background is sometimes the most effective thing to do. I'm going to download that one. That looks pretty nice. And this one, that's kind of interesting. It almost looks like it's in some bed sheets or something. Now, the other thing you can do is you can click on your image and make some adjustments. So if the lighting's not quite right, like my object looks a little more warm than the background. So I'm going to cool down the temperatures a little bit. Maybe desaturate it a little bit, and that looks a little more realistic. Okay, the other thing about this is that you can actually create a background using your prompt. So what we could do is we're going to go back, and I'm going to upload one of these rolling pins again. So the other thing we can do is we can create our own background into the photo. In other words, we can describe it, what we want in the background, and it can do a pretty good job. If you know the dimensions, I find that it helps. So I'm going to put in to this prompt, this 20-inch cylinder. Now, I didn't say rolling pin because I find that if I say the word rolling pin, it's going to try to put other rolling pins in the photo, and it messes things up. So I'm going to say this 20-inch cylinder is on top of a kitchen island with flour sprinkled around it. I'm going to say baking flour. And then I'll say maybe a green succulent plant can be seen out of focus in the background. All right. It can figure out the spelling. So we're going to generate that, see what happens. So here's my picture. Didn't quite nail it, but at least it knew there was a succulent in the picture, and it knew it was a kitchen counter. So we can try a couple more versions and see what happens. Anytime you undo, or anytime you want to do another one, always hit the undo button first and remove the existing background, because otherwise it'll try to merge that background with the next one. Okay, well, it's kind of getting there. You'd have to play around with the prompt for quite a while. I've used ChatGPT to help me create that prompt. So I'll tell it, hey, I need some help writing a prompt for Inpixio for the background. This is my object. I'm trying to do this. Help me create the prompt. And then I will take a screenshot of the result, put it back into ChatGPT and say, how can we adapt the prompt slightly to get what we're trying to get a little bit closer? So some of the ones I've been able to do, if we go back to my site, this is my butter barn. And this is just some pictures I took of it. And then I wanted it to look like it was on a counter with some baking stuff. And it gave me some really great results. So the picture again, all my pictures are the real object. I mean, the real object is a real photo, but the background has been adapted. Now that knife was included in my photo. So that helped this as well. But it did a pretty good job. There's some cheese and some really nice things around it. These are just photos here of the butter barn. By the way, this is called a West Coast butter size. So those stubby butters are called West Coast and the long ones are called East Coast. And I made this so that it has the dimensions so that if you're cooking, you know exactly how many tablespoons or cups you need of butter. You don't have to read on that label anymore. You can just put it in there. I like having butter out on my counter. That's why I did this. But that looks really good. It looks like it's in use. And yet the photo itself was just the knife and the butter barn and lid with butter on it. That's real butter. I've said the word butter like 800 times. So this came out pretty good. I like this one. This is my thumbnail I'm using. It almost looks like that sprigs of holly kind of give it that Christmas time of year because we're going into Christmas. And I think that's pretty cool. Here is just, a very basic design I did for a Gridfinity for the batteries. And I could have just used the table I took the picture on, but I found that the AI background looked a little bit better, so I used that. That's not a very good example, but here is some this is an audio device I use for my computer that's right here beside me, and this is an undermount. And so when I took the photo of it, I decided to use this background photo because it ended up looking a little bit better. Here's another one that this one was actually done through Snapper because I told them exactly what I wanted and they came back with it, but it's a little bit stretched. The picture is a little bit stretched, but it does show you a keyword. This is kind of how I have my studio set up, so you can kind of see that. But this is my real studio. This is the fake one. And you can tell it warped this just a little bit, unfortunately. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. This is the last one I'll show you. This is my poinsettia protector. I created these little protectors for the poinsettias around my house. And this is the real photo. I used that, what do they call that? Fuzzy skin on the edge of it. But I used the AI background for all these. And I think it just did a tremendous job. Made it look really, really sharp. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Again, I think the rule of thumb is the object itself has to be your real photo, but the background, if it complements or enhances your object, I say go for it. And I would use Inpixio. All right. I would love, if this helped you, would you hit the like button and follow me? I'm going to start building up this channel and sharing a lot more tips and stuff I've discovered with AI and how to implement that into music production and into 3D printing and painting and all kinds of stuff. I love using AI as a tool. So I would love to have you follow me. I'll share more tips and tricks.